and a lot more nervous taking some of these turns. Yo, I'm not going back in third person for the rest of the video. In today's video, I'm gonna be back in racing car driving with the Audi S3, and I'll be taking this thing on the track for a challenge. Now, the challenge rules are we're gonna take this thing for a full lap without having any spin outs or any crashes. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So let's launch this thing in 3, 2, 1, blast off. That sound amazing. Oh my gosh, the front end lift is crazy. Got the Audi airlines here, ready to take off. Okay, let's get in first person and keep our eyes on the road because we don't want to crash now by looking behind us. But I do have faith in this thing because it's a small and light car, so it should take the turns relatively well. It's not a very big heavy car. Now we're coming from doing SUVs because my two previous videos were SUVs. It was the Trackhawk and the Range Rover Sport SVR, so it's gonna be a little different in terms of handling here. So far this thing is doing well. It's just taking the turns like how I expected. I mean, I'm seeing oversteer and poor side, but I'm not really too nervous in this thing because I know how it handles already, because I do have some experience with this thing. That's why I said I do have confidence in this thing, because it's a nice little light fun car. It's kind of made for stuff like this. It has the aerodynamics and the physics of a car that would be meant. It's like a track car basically. I don't know where I'm trying to find some special words to add, but I should be able to take this thing through the challenge without having any fails. So far this thing is doing well as expected. I'm gonna say that I'm confident in this thing, but I don't want to become overconfident because anything is still possible. We can still have a spin out or a crash that we couldn't control. So I'm not gonna be overconfident, but this thing sounds so amazing. The blow off is insane. It's gonna be the third person action. This thing hugs the turn like a beast. It pops there. Awesome. As I said, I don't have that much doubt in this thing because I know that this thing can handle super well. But I did make changes to it. Of course, I changed the suspension, the element, all of that stuff. I do that with almost every car. I'm probably gonna start just taking some full stock on cars on the track. Like cars that I haven't bought yet. When I buy them, I'm just gonna take them stock on the track to see how they do. I'm not gonna tune some of them up. That's probably gonna be my next video, or I'm not sure which car is gonna be my other video. But leave a comment in case you want me to do a specific car, your favorite car in the game, or just something you want to see take on the challenge on the track. But I'm not sure what my other cars are gonna be yet for the next video. But I don't think I'm gonna buy any new cars yet. We almost had a spin out there, but this thing is very good at handling. This thing is all-wheel drive as well, so that definitely adds some help. That's definitely a major advantage of this thing. The all-wheel drive definitely helps us catch this thing when it starts to like go sideways. If it was rear-wheel drive, we'd be having a lot more trouble or need to be doing a lot more work, but all-wheel drive is definitely helping a lot. I feel like I have the perfect setup for this thing, because like even though we do end up start going sideways, it's very easy to correct it. It's just minimal, just press it, or we can just ease up off the gas and the car pretty much straighten out itself. Very awesome. I think I'm like well, not even halfway through the track yet, but we're very close to getting to the end, and this thing is doing amazing. Despite the few oversteers and stuff like that, it's still doing pretty amazing. With a little more third person action. I really need to stop developing that bad habit of switching to third person while going like 200 plus, because that can mess us up super bad. Look at that control there. We're pretty much just dancing with this thing. We're playing with our lives as well, because we can fail the challenge there. We could have failed it there, but I have confidence in this thing. But I'm not going to get overconfident until I make it to the last turn on the track. Then I'm just going to send it, or just like don't care any at all what happens after we pass the finish line. I don't care what happens, because once you pass the finish line, that means you pass the challenge. But like coming from driving SUVs back to a smaller car is definitely a lot interesting. Like usually if I was doing the SUV right now, I'd be doing a lot more braking and a lot more nervous taking some of these turns. Yo, I'm not going back in third person for the rest of the video. That was so close. Yo, we nearly that was like 2 inches away from the rail, and like one more turn in from a spin out there. Yo, never mind. I'm going back in third person. But we need to. I feel like that habit of switching to third person while taking a turn is really getting to me, because I nearly messed up like 2 times while switching to third person there. The car is so loud in third person. It's not even funny. But this thing is absolutely crazy. But I can't believe I almost failed it on that turn there while switching to third person. That was very, very bad idea for me there. I don't know why I did that. But I like switching to third person to get some cinematic views, and so we can see the weight transfer and all of that stuff. It's pretty cool and pretty realistic. That's why I started to add like switching to third person in my videos. But I really need to like find a specific part of the maps where it's okay and where not to do it, because oh my gosh, we came like 1 inch from the rail and spin it out there combined. Yo, but this thing just proved to me that it has amazing handling, because the fact that we're able to catch back that from going into a spin out and hitting the rail was insane and almost impossible. Like, if I wasn't recording, I wouldn't believe it. Like, there would be a moment there where I just like talk about and no one would believe. But I'm very happy that I was recording to catch it there and it didn't fail as well. If we failed, that it wouldn't be a very good thing to remember. It would be a very bad thing to remember. But thankfully we didn't fail, we didn't crash it, we didn't spin it out, so we're good. And that just shows that anything can happen any second if you're not careful, because even though this thing is good at handling, we can still mess it up if you're not careful. I mean, like, every car is pretty much good at handling, but you still can crash it if you're not careful. Because if you're doing some dumb stuff, you can still crash the perfect handling car in the world. Okay, I'm halfway through the track now. Once we reach this bit, I'm pretty much halfway through. See if we can hug this bit. Oh, yo, I'm having it wasn't on that turn, but I'm having flashbacks of what happened with the Range Rover Sport SVR. If you see that video or the short, you know what happened. We had a very, very bad time with that thing, and that's not that turn, but the second one that's like it. I'm gonna show you guys when we get there. It was horrible, but it was also driver error. That's why I kind of messed it up there. But I'm not trying to have that happen again with any car, not even a sedan or anything. I think that's the first SUV that I had a major wreck with. Even though that's the second time I'm taking an SUV on a challenge as well. Whoa, 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 whoa! We nearly lost it there. It's getting crazy there for a second, but we were able to catch it back, and we did brake there. Usually that's a bad idea to brake, but with this thing, there's not really anything that would be a bad idea, because the handling on this thing is so smooth. Can't get enough of it. If that was an other car that started to go sideways on me there, I'm pretty sure I'd have lost it. Look at that. This thing turns so sharp. Tune cars, I have a different tune up from what I would normally go with when I'm like changing alignment, suspension and that stuff. I think that's helping this thing a lot. That's why it's able to take some of these turns so crazy and smooth. Well, not really smooth. It takes a turn, but it does have a lot of power steer and oversteer and all of that stuff. Did I say power steer? Power slide. I wonder if there's a word, power steer. I don't even know that's a word. I know there's power steering, but power steer. Whoa, we're getting crazy on me there again. I'm not referring to power steering when I say power steer. I mean, well, maybe it's the same thing. But that word just seems super weird to me to say. Oh yeah, power steer is definitely a word. Now I'm remembering. I don't know where my mind went there for a second. It's definitely a word. It's the same thing as power steering. It's just shorter. Whoa. Gotta be careful with this thing. This thing is very crazy. Okay, this is the turn that I was referring to where I had them mess up with the SVR. That bit there is very, very wobbly, as you can see there, and that bit there was where we had the major mess up. If you see my previous video, you know what happened. I'm not gonna spoil it. I recommend you checking it out. Okay, but I'm on the last turn. I'm gonna send it. Yo! The Audi the S3, I'm about to say RDRs. The S3 made it successfully without any spin-outs and any crash. Even though there were some very close calls, I can say this thing successfully completed the challenge, and it did super well. Slow her down. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Even though if we crash here, that doesn't count as a fail because we pretty much completed the lap, so that does not count. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys the setup of this thing real quick. I recommend you guys changing it to almost like mine or exactly like mine, because the handling on this thing is so nice. When it seems like you're going to lose it, you can still catch it back. That's how good the handling on this thing is. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with the alignment. This is how I have it. The camber, I think that's pretty much stock. Didn't really I changed it a little bit, but I didn't really mess it too much. I have some little negative camber. The caster, this is how I have it. I didn't change the toe. The suspension, this is how I have it. Stiffness, the rear, the damping, the rear, height offset. I kind of hired the car a bit because it was like the tires were glitching through the fender, so I do recommend you keeping the height offset like this if you don't want it to look glitchy, especially when you're braking, because when you're braking the car, like the front end lowers and if it kind of glitches through, which is something that I didn't like. I did change that, but other than that, it doesn't really change the handling that much. I just did it because it didn't look realistic. The wheel offset, this is how I have it for the front. The rear height offset, I think I kept that stock. I didn't really change that much because it wasn't glitching through like the front was. The differential, this is how I have it. Final drive, torque vector, front diff power, front diff coast, front diff preload, rear diff power, rear diff coast, rear diff preload. If I'm going too fast, you can pause it or slow the video down. The steering, this is how I have it. Okay, usually I would like turn these up instead of down, but I realized that when I turn it down, it makes the car turn a lot sharper and more aggressive. The reason why I usually turn it up is because you don't want the car to turn too aggressive, but you can turn it down a little bit. That's what I'm gonna start doing now. But if you don't want the car to turn too sharp, you can like turn it up. But it also mainly depends on what you're playing on. I'm playing on a keyboard, so if you're playing like on a controller, or I don't know who use mouse to steer, but if you're doing that, you might want to mess with it in your settings. You don't have to copy mine exactly, but if you're on a keyboard or the mechanic, I would recommend you doing it like this. But it all depends on what you're on. Like for keyboard, this is gonna be the ideal setup if you're trying to get it to handle like how you saw in the video. But for mouse and like controller, you're gonna mess with it for yourself, because I don't know how the best setup is, but for me this is the best setup. Drivetrain is pretty much all the drive tires. You got the race tires, of course. But this thing handled super well. I'm very glad it was able to pass the challenge. I had a lot of confidence in it, so I know it was. But I mean, anything could have. I mean, we had a very close call. We could have failed the challenge. Anything is still possible. I mean, you can have confidence in a car and it still fails because you did some dumb driver error, stuff like that. But I'm happy we didn't fail this thing. Happy it pulled through. This thing is a very nice car. I definitely recommend you taking it on the track. It's definitely one of the funnest cars to take on the track. Can beat a lot of faster cars in it because of the handling. But hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found it helpful. Peace out.